You really just have two choices with your life. You can either decide that your life is a maze and stay stuck in a haze and keep bumping up against the same things over and over again. Anybody relate to that? My life is a maze, a purple maze all in my hazy brain. I keep knocking into the same people, the same situations over and over again. Or you can choose to see your life as a labyrinth, a spiritual path that has a definite, clear way to get in and get out. The getting in is to the inside of your own being. The getting out is to go then and share it with the world. You have that choice. To be in a maze, in a haze, and just, what did you say? What was that statement you said to me?
Your life can either be amazed or in a maze.
That's right. Your life can either be amazed or be amazed. I mean, it's up to you what you choose to do. And how you see it makes all the difference in the world. And we know in this room that being on a spiritual path does not mean you're going to find yourself in different quadrants, but we know where we're going because we're aware and awake to where we're coming from. Yes? Yes, that's what we're doing. And we said last week that a great technique for waking up in the middle of the maze when you hit another dead end is the concept of make it bigger. Did anybody work with make it bigger? Anyone? Anyone work with make it bigger? I've done that 20 times this week. Make it bigger. We said when you're in the middle of some mazy, hazy thing that's got you up against the wall again, not projecting it onto other people. You just make it bigger in yourself. You just sort of build up an energy that goes, well, I can't believe what's going on. You said this and this happened in political climate, money. You make it big in yourself. And then soon, if you work it to the end, you will start laughing. You will get the cosmic punchline. Having a conversation, I think it was about the auction, and I was getting all worked up about some position I was in. And Maureen just kept looking at me as I was getting louder and louder, and she put her hands over her ears and goes, la 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 la, and she started dancing in the doorway, and I started to laugh. She looked like Emerson, my granddaughter, and right away I got the joke. I got the punchline. It was this another one of those things that all of a sudden, back on the labyrinth, back on the path again of awakening. I was in the hot tub at the YMCA, and there is a jet in that hot tub that is the heavenly jet. It is the best jet in the hot tub. And if you know about that jet, that's where you go if it's empty, and if you're not on it and somebody else is, you wait till they get off because you want to get back on the heavenly jet. So I'm in this hot tub, and I have my time on the heavenly jet, and this woman comes in to the tub, and I had this bigger than me, make it bigger, a little bit different, more subtle, bigger energy. I just wondered, does she know about this heavenly jet stream coming out of this hot tub jet right here? So I got off the jet. You know which one I'm talking about, Jay, right? That one jet in the corner to the right. He goes to the top as well, too. And I got off, and she didn't immediately get on it. That's how I knew she didn't know. So we're all crazy here. I tapped her on the shoulder, and I said, excuse me, do you know about, she kind of looked at me, the heavenly hot tub jet? She kind of looked at me like this guy with tattoos and ohms and crosses on my arms, like, help, lifeguard. No, but she didn't do that. I just tapped her on the shoulder and gently said, do you know about this beautiful jet here? She goes, actually, every time I come in this tub, someone's always on that jet. And I said, give it a try. Yeah. So she just backs over to this jet, and she just puts her back and, oh, wow. This is so legit. Oh, no wonder this jet's always taken. And then he says to me, I want to thank you so much for sharing this news with me. And I said, you know what? I need all the graduation points I can get. You got to share the cosmic jet stream, right? The energy of the teachings. And I think unity is like that. A lot of you come in here for the first time, never been here before, and all of a sudden you start hearing about this God that is love, and your work is to forgive and release and let go, that you're not a hopeless sinner. Never mind original sin. How about original innocence? You're beautiful. You're holy. God loves you. It is the Father's good pleasure to give you the treasure of the heavenly jet stream. And you begin to go, can life really be this good? I mean, I don't have to wait till I die to experience the pleasurable connection I have to my beloved. Could that be? And for some people, you know what? It is too good, and they can't handle it. They just can't believe they're worthy enough. But for you who are in this room, you've had a taste of the heavenly jet stream, haven't you? Yes. You wouldn't be here in this room if you didn't. So part of you says, you know what, I want to share this news with other people. It's the good news of great joy. So you bring people into unity. I know you've done this a million times, CJ, and you hope they get into the heavenly jet stream. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but it doesn't matter, you see, because it's all the same. It's always there for us. That's what we're looking for, to get into the heavenly jet stream of a relaxing relationship with the Lord God of our own being, so we can finally let go and stop struggling. And my friends, the hot tub is being shared by all of us. We're all in this hot water together, right? The heavenly jet stream is there, and then the lesser ones around it. They're not good or bad, but when we're in the stream of these teachings, something flows through us that allows us to get the cosmic punchline sooner. No better time for us to practice principles of the heavenly jet stream than in the next 2 months during this election cycle. Richard Nixon and Kennedy and Johnson and, oh yeah, please, Al Gore and Bill Clinton and George Bush. Who hasn't done this before? We're doing it again, right? Another election cycle. What do we want to use this time for? To enter into the heavenly jet stream? Or get all caught up in separation and fear? As for me in my house, I am ready for a new political platform. How about you?
Yes.
I want to use these next 2 months not to go to sleep, but to wake up. So here we go. Let's take a look at it now. Come on, you can do it. Obama, Romney, Paul. It's time to awaken to oneness, or not at all. Take a good look now, because we don't know. Well, we're kind of sure about, maybe not him, but here we are. There is Obama, Romney, Paul. Come together in oneness, or not at all. This election cycle is here again to give us a redo, to wake up and not go back to sleep by thinking there's something other than us going on here. There is no other than us going on here. We are here to awaken. So I've got a political platform for you. There are 4 points. Come on, be insane with me. Enter the heavenly jet stream. Tap someone new on the shoulder, and let's take a look at the 4 points to our political platform. You ready?
Yeah.
Come on now, stay with it. May all beings enjoy happiness and the root of happiness. This always comes from knowing who we are, children of the Most High. 2, may we be free from suffering and the root of suffering, which always comes from the belief that we are separate from God and each other. Number 3, may we dwell in equanimity and peace and find ways to join together rather than tear each other apart, which we do very well. 4, may we realize that what we give to another is first received by us. We are all one and share a common faith. That's the political platform for awakening. You can go back to sleep if you want to again and make them the other and oh brother and here we go again. But the truth is, if you want to use these next couple of months as a spiritual path for awakening, no better time to practice when it's right in your face, right? Here it is again. We get a chance to practice. You can pull it up for a moment. The actual idea for this talk, it came from watching this incredible video that we saw on a school system in Los Angeles, in Long Beach, California. And the name of the movie was called Freedom Riders. Anybody seen that movie? It's a story of a time, because we think these times are so different. They're not different. It's a repeat performance over and over again. It was a time right after the Rodney King riots, when this particular part of Los Angeles was in a war zone. Children were killing children, literally broken up into us and them, groups of the Chicanos hating the Latinos, hating the whites, and these kids were literally killing each other every single day. They were killing each other as a result of us and them, as the result of seeing themselves separate from others. Step up to the plate, one Christ-like, Buddha-like being, very young woman, true story, who steps up and goes, there must be a way out of this. There must be a way to end this suffering. And I choose to be the vehicle and the voice for that to happen. And she enters into this very rough, tough school system and decides to speak for the truth. She meets with incredible resistance from the ancient mind, race mind, consciousness storyline, from the school system that says, forget about it. You're Pollyanna. This is ridiculous. All that new age junk, all this new thought stuff. You got the rap. You know what I'm talking about. You're just Pollyanna. You're not dealing with the real world. Well, the real world that she was looking at was a world not worth living in, for her or for anybody else. So she showed up and stepped up to the plate and decided to take the challenge of stepping across party lines and help these children, these young children, see what they have in common rather than live in fear of what separates them from each other. So she walks into this classroom, and it's disastrous. I mean, this is a true story. It was just crazy. Everybody was fighting and throwing things at each other and wrestling on the floor. Terrible, terrible energy. And the look of hate on their eyes for each other at such a young age was just, the gang violence was just, it was so strong. And in one particular moment, someone's passing around a piece of paper, and she goes, "What have you got there? Let me see that piece of paper." And she picks it up, and it's a picture of an African-American black person with exaggerated lips and a big, big, big nose. And she looks at it and said, "Who did this?" And they said, "We did it. We all did it. We all did it. We all did it. We all did it." She goes, "Do you want to know about the greatest gang that ever existed on this planet? Do you want to know about that gang?" And all of a sudden, they turned their chairs around. Toughest gang that ever lived. They were being persecuted in the worst way economically. The world was holding them down, and they decided they were going to become the strongest gang on the planet. "You guys want to know about that gang?" And they all went, "Yeah, yeah, we do. That's what we're interested in." She said it began with a picture, like the one you passed around. But this time, the face was a Jewish person with a really big, exaggerated nose. And it began what's called the Holocaust. Gang violence taken to the maximum. And 6 million people were killed. That's where gang violence leads to. That's what you're headed for if you keep going in that direction. She had their attention, yes? And so she then takes this piece of tape like this. Let me do this. I did this the first service. I can do it again. And she puts it right down the center of the classroom like this. Right down the center now. The dividing line between the Democrats and the Republicans, the Libertarians, the Tea Partyists, you know, those with or without. Here we are right now. This is the thing that seems to be the thing that separates us. She puts it down and she says, "I want the classroom to break up onto 2 sides, either side. And when I say something that's true for you, I want you to step up to the line and put your foot on that line." How many here, she says to them, who don't even look at each other, they're so angry. How many here have ever been shot at? And they all of them, step up and they put their foot on the line. She goes, "Get back now, get back now." How many here have ever experienced extreme acts of violence in your home? Every single one of them steps up, puts their foot on the line. She goes, "Back now on your side." How many here have ever experienced someone you love or a family member being shot in gang violence? Every single one of them does what? Steps up to the line. And they begin to see each other for the first time. They begin to see the face of suffering. When the Buddha said, "I teach 2 things, suffering and the end of suffering," it's good to see it first. Because when you realize how much we have in common, you can no longer see someone as the enemy. In that moment, it begins to unravel. And then she said to them, "How many here have lost 2 or 3 or 4 members of your family?" And at that point, they're all weeping and crying. At the end of the class, she says to them, "I want you now to call out the names of all the people that you have lost to gang violence." And it goes on for 15 minutes. Literally, the place has been devastated by what? By separation. Devastated by not being willing to step across party lines and see things differently. And she gives them an assignment. She gets these notebooks and she sticks them on this desk. This is a Buddha. This is a Christed being. And she goes, "I want you to write your story down. And I'll not look at it unless you want me to. If you do, you put it in that closet. I'll lock them up. If you want me to read it, I will. I don't care if you ever share it with anyone, but I want you to tell your story." And they all write their stories. And for a half hour in the movie, they tell these horrendous stories of what's happened to them, why they are the way that they are. Someone is listening. Someone hears what the suffering is. Someone understands. In one moment in the movie, they open up the closet, and every single one of them has stacked up their notebook. They want someone to listen. They want someone to hear. Do you hear what I'm saying now? The person on the other side of the line wants someone to listen, wants someone to hear. You be that someone who listens. You be that one the world is waiting for. You step across that line and be that one who allows that which we are together to unite us more than that which separates us and pulls us apart. And then it continues. She gets them the diary of Anne Frank. And of course, the normal school system says they're too stupid to read a book like that. They'll never be able to get through it. Not only do they get through it, they devour it. It is their story. And as the story grows, she actually gets the person who took care of the people in that apartment. She's still alive at that point. I think she was in her 90s, it's 1996. And she comes and tells them the story of why she housed those people in her home, who eventually were all taken by the Nazis. She said, I did it because I had to do it. I did it because it was mine to do. And one of the toughest gang members pops up and says, you're my hero. She looks at him and says, son, you are my hero. Now you go be that hero in your neighborhood. This is what the world needs now. Yes, more than anything, to step across that which seems to separate us and join hands with that which looks like the other. Because we've only really got one problem. You know when they say those things like, it's the economy, stupid, if we just got a better economy, everything would work out well? Remember that? It's the economy, stupid, it's the fundamentalists, stupid, it's the Christians, stupid, it's them, it's these, it's those. It's not any of those things. The problem is the ego. It's the ego, stupid. It's your sense of separate self. That's the problem, which is an illusion, but boy, it sure seems real while you're here, doesn't it? This certainly seems like what I am, just this little Richard thing, got these little desires and stuff that I do every day. It's an illusion, it's a thought, an amalgamation of thoughts and feelings. That's what the ego is. And it'll go in any direction that you want it to go in. The problem is our ego, and when we examine it with loving kindness and compassion and bring awareness to it, it begins to no longer be taken so seriously. And when we don't, what happens to the ego is it joins with other egos, and the ego morphs into we-go. Ego, then we-go. And then we-go goes, yeah, we believe this is one nation, and this is us. With the GNP, it needs to be bigger, we need to make more money, we need more weapons, we need more, and then to get a website and make it legitimate, and all of a sudden, we-go has gone mad and wild. That's what we're seeing now, a collective we-go that has gone insane. That's what's going on now. And who's doing that to us?
We are.
Ah, there's nobody here, bud. Us. We're doing it to ourselves. Our country is not broke. We are being robbed of our freedom to make different choices. That's what's going on right now. Dwight D. Eisenhower, a Republican, said this about spending 60% of our budget on the military. He said this about every gun that is made, every warship that is launched, every rocket fired, signifies, in the final sense, a theft from those who hunger and are not fed, from those who are cold and are not clothed. What we need to do is take a look at the ego that creates the we-go and make different choices. And we have that power. We don't need to spend $2.2 million a minute defending a false sense of separate self. And that's what we're doing now. And that is insanity. And we don't need to do that anymore. I don't care which one decides to get into power. We don't need to make that kind of choice anymore because we are not without power and we are not without choice. There's no one doing it to us. It's happening through us. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are here at this moment in time to have a new party platform. Are you ready to join me in it? Yes? To awaken? Jesus said it starts with the idea of being separate from God. It's called sin. Sin means separation from God. And the Buddha called it dukkha. Dukkha. It's that sense of dissatisfactoriness that's built into the inherent system of a separate self that believes it's real. And you say, well, this is garbage. This stuff's not real. Get real. Get to the real world. Okay, if this is real, where are you going to be in 50 years? Mr. Real Man. Where are you going to be in 50 years, Mr. Real Man? Mr. Real Woman who thinks you're real? You're not going to be here because it's not real. It is an illusion. And we are making it up. How do we want to live in this illusion? Believing we're separate, or do we want to come together as one and make a difference? Every time you challenge dukkha, that sense of dissatisfactoriness, and say, I get this. I'm always going to feel like no matter how much I have, it's not enough. I get it. I understand. I'm going to own that in myself right now. No longer give a lot of energy to it. I'm going to say, oh gee, there's me again, it's never enough. There I go again. There I go again. And I'm not going to fight it, I'm just going to be aware of it. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself under the influence of the heavenly jet stream. Oh, that's better. Oh, it's so much better not to fight in my life, but just to relax into the moment and be present. Oh, God loves me. That's what the truth of it is. Oh, it's so sweet. Would you like to have a seat in this heavenly jet stream? Let's get moving in a different direction together. Yes! That's what we're being called upon to do for these next couple of months. Practice. 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 I want 5 people to come up here now on each side. Come on, get up. Somebody get up. 5 people. 5 here and 5 there. Come on. I'll give you money. Come on over here, 5 people. I'm not doing that, man. That's scary. I'm a new person. I didn't want to come here in the first place. She dragged me here. She dragged me here. I don't want to be here. This is scary. Okay, I'm going to say some statements now, and I want you to relate to them. And if this is true for you, I want you to step forward and put your toe right on that line right there. How many here have ever suffered the loss of someone you love? Can you go back now? How many here have ever felt that no matter what you do, you are not good enough? Go back to your sides. How many here have ever felt worried about your financial future and what might happen with him or her or they? Now what I want you to look at when you look at the person next to you is that that person's just like you. They feel exactly like you do. Everybody's looking for happiness. The Dalai Lama says everybody wants happiness. We're just going about finding it the wrong way. And we think someone's going to deliver it to us. No one's going to deliver it to us. We're going to be the vessels and the channels for it to happen. Every time you cross party lines like this, and don't let that other bumper sticker get you thinking you're separate. And hug that energy. Instead, embrace it yourself. In that moment, incredible potential happens for us to awaken. So embrace that part of yourself now. Embrace that Democrat. Hug that Republican. Give that person who's of a different color. Give that situation who lives down the block from you. Love that part of yourself. And don't overdo it. Sit down now. You're going to do last service, we couldn't get them off the stage. They were hugging each other. This is what the world needs now. You've got to step across the party line. It isn't one or the other. It's us. It's all of us together. This is a call to oneness, not to go back to sleep again. Yes, I find myself doing it with those 99%ers. Some of my best friends are 99%ers. I like them.
1%ers.
The 1%ers. Who are they? Who do you think they are? It's you. 99 plus 1 makes it 100%. Be present. No separation. Watch every time it comes out of your mouth. Open your heart. Be present. Let's go back to our platform for one moment, and then we'll leave you alone. I'll stop screaming at you, I promise. Again, here's the party platform for staying connected to the heavenly jet stream, because we're all in this hot tub together. And you know, it's being turned up, 104, 105, 106. If you look getting hotter, you know what I'm talking about. This is the time we live in. You signed up to be here. So here's how we stay awake. Remember, all beings want happiness, and the root of happiness is not outside but inside. This always comes and will come from knowing who we truly are, which are children of the Most High, from one presence and one power. May all of us be free from suffering and the root of suffering. We begin to grow out of the idea that my suffering is different from yours. No, it's not my suffering, it is the suffering. Everyone suffers, and everyone wants happiness. That'll put you in the center line where God is and I am. 3, may we dwell in equanimity and peace and find ways to join together rather than tear each other apart. May we realize that what we give to another is first received by us. We are all one and share a common faith. Conclude the story about that school system. This one teacher and her one willingness to stand in the presence of oneness changed that whole school system. It's now one of the best schools that's around now, because she stepped forward and said, as for me and my house, I will serve one presence and one power. That's what we're called upon to do. Right here, right now, wherever you are, God is, and she's reaching out her hands and saying, I need you. Will you be the one? Will you? If not you, who? If not now, Practice well, practice deeply, not just for you, but for the benefit of all beings everywhere. Namaste.